A quick warm up before another cool down. I'll have your temperature and rain outlook hour by hour through the holiday weekend.
Bad blood. 6 men charged after a post-game brawl between rival East Carolina and NC State fans. How police say it started. And hidden treasure. The state treasurer uncovers $170 million sitting in an account no one knew existed. We'll explain where it came from and what's being done with it. All right, welcome everybody. Happy Friday here at 7 o'clock. I'm Dan Haggerty. It is a holiday weekend. We're keeping a close eye on the weather for you. I know it's been a gorgeous week all week long, but tomorrow, a little bit of rain in the forecast. Don't panic. It's not going to ruin the day. It's not going to be a washout or anything. Kat Campbell joining us. 30% shot on Saturday for rain. Kat, things are going to stay nice and cool, though, which will be great. It's
going to be really nice. Still cool in the morning and then warm during the afternoon. High temperatures are in the low to mid 80s all weekend long. Rain chances 30% tomorrow, 20% Sunday, and no rain for Labor Day on Monday. Let's take a closer look at tomorrow. A lot of people hitting up the pool for one last time this weekend. Tomorrow morning for the early morning risers, 64 degrees at 8 a.m. By 10 a.m., we are already jumping up in the 70s, 78 degrees at lunchtime. And then during the afternoon, that's when we have the small chance for rain, 83 degrees. I would not cancel your outdoor plans. I wouldn't cancel your pool plans. Any showers that develop should be pretty brief. In the morning, we're off to a dry start. We'll stay dry through lunchtime. No worries there. But once we get to the early afternoon, a couple of these spotty cells could pop up. I wouldn't take the location on Futurecast too literally. Just notice the spacing. They're very spotty and they don't last for very long. Keep the WRAL weather app on hand for the weekend. That way you can get a closer look at the radar. I'll have a closer look at how much longer below normal temperatures will last coming up.
All right, talk to you then. Thank you, Kat. A 35-year legacy in Zebulon comes to an end this weekend. On Sunday, the Carolina Mudcats will play their final game at Five County Stadium. Next year, the team will rebrand as the Wilson Warbirds and move into a new stadium in a new town in downtown Wilson. WRAL's Heidi Kirk joining us live from the stadium where the last game started and just the last 30 minutes. Heidi, the team is expecting record numbers for fans this weekend.
Dan, that's right. It is clear how much people love this baseball team all across Eastern North Carolina. I've got lots of fans here behind me, but all eyes are glued on the game. Walk with me this way out here. Take a look. That game started just within the last 30 minutes, and let me tell you what, it is a packed stadium. One of the things that people love about this team is the stadium itself. They had their first game here in 1991, and on Sunday they will play their last home game before rebranding as the Wilson Warbirds and moving to that new stadium out in Wilson. Now, of course, this is bittersweet for a lot of those fans who've been coming here for decades. We talked to some of these people telling us that they say it's really about the generational pull here. Some people bringing their kids out to tonight's game. Take a listen.
It's really cool to just share an experience with them and to have the same kind of memories, knowing that we'll be recreating those with them that I had growing up. So it's a good family environment. It's fun. We love sports and baseball, so it checks all the boxes.
And Dan, it's the same story that you hear from so many of these fans out here tonight. They've been bringing their kids here for generations, and before that, they came here as young people. Now, you still have 2 more chances to see them play after tonight, tomorrow night, and then on Sunday at 1 o'clock, which again will be their last home game here in this very stadium. Dan?
Yeah, thank you for clarifying, because I kind of said both in the intro to you. I said that tonight was the last game and the last game was Sunday. That makes sense. So, Heidi, the Wilson Warbirds, the affiliate of the Milwaukee Brewers, they're expected again to play in that new stadium in Wilson come next April. What do we know about that stadium, though? What is the plan?
Well, Dan, this is something that I've been covering since I started here, about 2 years ago. So this has been a big talker all across Eastern North Carolina. The new stadium is going to seat 4,000 people there. You can see some of those schematics of what it's going to look like, and they've got some of the bones up right now. So if you drive by downtown Wilson, you'll see that stadium. But there's a greater plan to kind of develop this entire area. So they want to add hotels, lots of housing in that community, eventually mixed-use retail, development development. They really want to make this a monopoly of its own in downtown Wilson. So, well, it's kind of bittersweet to see them moving out of Zebulon and, of course, Five County Stadium. All in all, it's really exciting for a lot of people in eastern North Carolina who plan to head down the road and attend some games in Wilson. Of course, as I mentioned, the first game is slated for April of next year, kicking off the season at that new stadium. Dan.
All right. Thank you, Heidi. Appreciate the report tonight. So there you have it. This is the end of the road for the Carolina Mudcats. They're getting a new name, a new home, a new stadium, but it has been a pretty long road to get to this point. It all started a couple of years ago in December of 2023. Wilson Town Council approving this move to bring the Mudcats to town, and they approved building that new $69 million stadium. But the thing is, Wilson already had a baseball team. The Wilson Tobs have been playing in a collegiate league in town there since 1991, but the stadium that they play in is much, much older than that. Our Tar Heel Traveler did a whole story on Fleming Stadium in 2014. The place first opened back in 1940. They did a whole bunch of renovations over the years, of course, and the Tobs have been calling it home ever since. So you can understand why some of the fans of the Tobs aren't actually big fans of bringing the Mudcats to town. This will be the Tobs' final season in Wilson as a result. The team posted this emotional goodbye video on Facebook this afternoon.
For the first time in over 100 years, Wilson are the champions.
At least we got that first, our first Pettit Cup. Goodbyes are never easy. So instead, let's just say thank you.
God, it's pretty sad, don't you think? But look, this isn't just sad for the Tobs and their fans. Zebulon is losing their team, right? Losing a longtime resident of Five County Stadium. The town wants to find somebody new to move in, something to do with it. They put out a request for proposals back in February. They also created a public survey so residents could weigh in on the stadium's future, and people in charge feel that that future is pretty bright.
The beauty of this stadium, the beauty of this site, is that it has so many different uses than it has in the past. Obviously, it's known for baseball, but we've seen concerts, festivals, marathons, and everything else held in this site. So we figure while we're dreaming, we might as well dream big.
The results of that public survey have not been released, and we don't know if the town has received any response to that request for proposals. Have the Tobs sent one in? Get online, fill out a form, guys. Tonight, we will celebrate the Mudcats game at Five County Stadium and the last game when they play there on Sunday, and the Tobs will celebrate their final season in Wilson. So maybe you're like me and you just don't use cash very much these days. You probably remember back in the day when you'd find some quarters in the couch or you'd put on a pair of jeans and find a couple bucks in the pocket. Now imagine, I don't know, finding $170 million in those jeans. That is basically what happened with the state treasurer's office this week. They found $170 million in an account they hadn't checked on in about 25 years. How is that possible? Where does that money go now? I took those questions to WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie. All right, Laura, so let's start with the first question a lot of people have. How do you misplace this kind of money?
Well, the first thing the treasurer wanted to stress is that nobody actually lost $170 million. This was money that ended up in this fund little by little over the course of about 25 years. And of course, compounding interest helps it grow. So it's not like somebody dropped a stack of cash somewhere. This is money that's been growing for a long time.
Let's not get too into the weeds here. We're not accountants, but how does money like that even end up in an account like that in the first place?
Well, the state moves a lot of money, right? This is for capital accounts, things that you build, like say bridges, schools, roads, right? Big amounts of money. So when you have it sitting in an account for a while, it's making interest. Well, where does that interest go? It goes into this particular account. It was a catch-all for cash, right? Like a change jar, like in the old days, right? Or if a project ends up being under budget, that extra money would go into this account. So, but everybody apparently somehow forgot that this account existed.
It makes for a great headline. It's also good news, I guess. I mean, here we are, an additional $170 million.
That doesn't hurt, right?
What can we do with it?
Well, it's limited because this was money that was set aside by lawmakers for capital expenses. So this money can only be used for certain uses. One of the uses it can be used for is paying off some of the debt that the state owes for all the projects that we've taken on. And that's what the treasurer says he's going to do with it. So
you have less debt. That opens you up to be able to borrow more, spend other money on other projects.
And you're paying less interest.
Right. Does this, okay, so you're looking at saving money.
Yeah.
Does any of that make its way into the budget conversation? Because they still can't seem to agree on that.
Unlikely. The budget conversation at this point is so far above the level of projects and borrowing money. It's they're still arguing over tax cuts and employee and teacher raises. So unlikely that this is going to make any difference.
It might not solve that, but helps us in other places.
Still $170 million. I mean, it's not chump change.
Thanks, Laura. So this is a story that also comes with a little side of irony, since one of the main functions of the Treasury is to help people find money, unclaimed money that they didn't know was there. This can be from a forgotten bank account, uncashed payroll checks when people change jobs, refunds or insurance policies, security deposits or safety deposit boxes, even inheritance. In 2024, the Treasurer's Office helped people find and claim a record $115 million in missing money. It also reported unclaimed property, 22.3 million properties representing $1.3 billion, all still waiting to be claimed. Last year, when Dale Folwell was still the treasurer, he brought this huge check to a woman in Durham. She had over $67,000 unclaimed, and the state treasury returned that to her. That would be nice. It's been a long time covering this sort of thing. WRAL 5 on your side has covered this for decades. Here's a story we ran back in 2006 of people finding pretty nice chunks of change that were just sitting there waiting for them. I know what you're thinking. Do I have some money out there? Well, you might, maybe. And it's easy to check. You just go to nccash.gov. You type in your name and you see what pops up. It's free, no fees, no middleman, nothing like that. Just money that could be yours. Because if the Treasurer's Office can stumble across $170 million, you never know what might be out there waiting for you. So you know the phrase, there's good news and there's bad news. Well, some news is a little bit of both. We're going to take a look at some of the stories over the past couple of weeks that have some highs and some lows. Housing, weather, football, even Taylor Swift. It's after the break. All right, let's get you caught up on this Friday with some of the big headlines. These are the 5 things you should know right now. 6 students from NC State and ECU face charges after a brawl on campus after last night's game. It's the latest bad blood between the schools after a fight during last season's bowl game on the field between players. The fight happened, this recent one, around 2 a.m. Campus police say more charges are possible. In Hillsborough, 2 people were hurt after a crash at a gas station. Look at this video. This is the scene here on I-85, right off I-85, the corner court area when Sky 5 arrived. A U-Haul was up against the gas pump and a red pickup was away from the gas pump with a fuel nozzle still on the truck there. At least 2 other cars were damaged. The Orange County Sheriff's Office believes this was an accident, but they're still investigating what caused it. An early morning fire destroyed a home in Johnston County. You can see the extent of the damage from the video here. A neighbor telling us the home was full of flames within seconds. A woman living there in the home with her dog, they were able to get out, but they say a cat is still missing. Johnston County commissioners are pushing the state to expand rail service. There are already 2 daily passenger train routes from Raleigh to Selma. County leaders say they'd like to see some more. They also want to see a new stop between Raleigh and Selma in Clayton. Recovery efforts in western North Carolina will get more help. A federal agency agreed to release funding for volunteer projects in the mountains. You may remember us reporting on AmeriCorps pulling funding around the country. It meant dozens of volunteers were no longer able to help in western North Carolina, but Attorney General Jeff Jackson sued to get the funding released, along with nearly 24 other states. So we know it can be tough to keep up with all of the news out there. And unless you're watching us every single night on every single newscast, you're probably going to miss some stuff, the good and the bad. With that said, it's time for another installment of one of our news segments here on WRAL News at 7 as we look back at the last couple of weeks and talk about the stories that had a little bit of good and a little bit of bad. The stories that make you say, all right, and oh no. Let's start in downtown Raleigh. The city just broke ground on its first permanent affordable housing project. 18 homes will be ready to go later next year. All right. But a report from the state shows Wake County needs more than 65,000 homes to fix its affordable housing crisis. So this project is really just a drop in the bucket. Oh, no. A new NC State football season is here, and so is the tradition of tailgating outside Carter Finley Stadium. All right. But this is probably the last time tailgating will be in the big parking lots outside the stadium. 2 new parking decks will be built later this year. Oh, no. But it is part of a bigger billion-dollar project to overhaul and redevelop the area around the stadium, turning it into a new Raleigh Entertainment District. All right. But that could come with higher property taxes for the folks living nearby. Oh, no. Hurricane Aaron pushed right on past the Outer Banks. There was some overwash and flooding and debris, but Highway 12 is back open. Even those houses in Rodanthe, the ones that collapse all the time, they made it through the storm. Things are going back to normal. All right. But the storm did bring beach erosion, which means while those homes survived this time, they might not make it when the next storm rolls in. And according to the state, hundreds of oceanfront homes face a similar danger. Oh, no. Last one. Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged. It was a love story, and she said yes. All right. But this does mean no more Taylor Swift breakup songs. Oh, no.
I love the last one.
Those songs are good. She can write about a breakup. All right, Kat, tell us about the weekend weather. A lot of cookouts out there being planned.
I wouldn't cancel outdoor plans. I mean, we've got a couple of spotty showers tomorrow afternoon. No big deal. I left my outdoor plans. I'll be outside tomorrow, just keeping an eye on the radar. For the first half of the day, you're completely dry. 2 o'clock is the first chance for rain. It's a small 20% chance, and then we go to a 30% chance during the afternoon. It's not like we've got a cold front coming through or anything really powerful to lift the air and lead to widespread development of showers. Just a couple of weak waves of energy moving through. So enjoy this. Friday night looks great. Get the fire pit going, do some s'mores with the family. 9 o'clock, it'll be 73 degrees. By 11 o'clock, closer to 70. We're sitting at 80 at RDU, 82 in Cary right now, 79 in Garner, 79 Holly Springs, and 78 in Wake Forest. It's nice out there. It's been a nice week. We are running about 4 degrees below normal for the month of August at RDU. It's been the 8th coolest August on record. Our climate much closer to New York City for the month of August than here in Raleigh. And it's also been a wet month. Even though we haven't had much rain lately, we started out the beginning of the month so wet that we are still in 4th place for the wettest August on record. So is it going to continue or is it false fall? Well, I wouldn't expect temperatures to stay steady for the entire fall season. We usually see a lot of variability. Cold fronts come through that lead to pretty dramatic temperature changes. But generally speaking, we're likely to see below normal temperatures through the middle of the month. This goes out September 6th through the 12th. You'll see on the 7-day forecast in a minute that we do expect below normal temperatures for sure for the first week of September, but it may even go into the second week. During that same time frame, above normal rainfall in the forecast. It's hurricane season. September's the peak of hurricane season, so we are going to have to watch exactly what that means for us. The tropical outlook highlights just one area, a wave moving off the coast of Africa that's got about a 30% chance of developing. I haven't seen anything too concerning on the models with that region yet. I'll let you know if it changes. We've still got a long time to track it, but that's good news. So we'll keep an eye on it for you. Right now, no need to worry. Over the next couple of days, highs stay in the low 80s, but we will see lows dip back into the upper 50s Sunday night and Monday night. Tuesday, just 79 the high, and there will be the chance for some rain by the middle of next week. Overall, though, this is a great looking 7-day forecast and start to September.
Awesome. Thank you, Kat. Using a cell phone these days is kind of like running water. We take it for granted, don't we? But it wasn't always this way. After the break, we go into the WRAL archive to relive the days when cell phones were starting to get big, and were literally big, too. Kids are back in school, and one of the big changes this year is a new rule across the board to keep cell phones out of the classroom. And it got us thinking about the days without cell phones and about the days when cell phones kind of just started getting popular, when they were first starting to get huge, like literally huge. It was like putting a brick to your face to call grandma. We went into the WRAL archive to find a story from the early days of cell phones. I think you'll appreciate it. Your kids might too. Thank you for making WRAL your choice for local news. Have a fantastic holiday weekend as we take a little look back in time as we leave you with this, your Friday moment of nostalgia.
Yeah, the status has definitely changed. It no longer is a luxury. It is a need.
In just 2 years, cell phone usage has doubled. Nearly 2 of every 3 phone numbers issued are assigned to portable phones. Almost half of everyone who buys one does so for safety.
I gave one to my daughter for Christmas for safety reasons. She traveled a lot between Chapel Hill and Charlotte and Rocky Mount, and she's a young lady who needs to have access or to call for help if she needs it.
State Highway Patrol officers say they can't be covering the 77,000 miles of roadways in North Carolina at all times, so cell phones help officers locate problems.
They're being most helpful to us. It's a free call by dialing star HP to report drunk drivers to us, as well as to report disabled motorists.
In the last year, the Triangle has seen about a 70% growth in cell phone purchases, and prices have dramatically gone down from about $600 5 years ago to less than $100 today. A typical package will cost about $25 a month for 30 minutes of free airtime on your cell phone. That might be fine for just emergencies, but often people realize how convenient the phones are, and then the minutes really add up.
What happens, though, is they come in, they buy it for safety reasons, and they realize that there are a tremendous amount of other opportunities and reasons they can use their telephone.
I'm typically the emergency. I call them to see if they're okay. So that's really...
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.